investigations. They've been working around the clock.
Hi.
Hey,
You look good.
you too.
Do you know how much you're loved? Do you have any idea?
I love you too.
Chris, we love you so much. And we will never, ever, ever abandon you. Do you hear me?
Thank you.
I just wanted to see you and give you a hug.
Soon you'll be able to.
I know, hon. Oh, I've got this. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it. There's something in it, but I can't see what it is. But
It's me and you.
oh, okay.
And it has a saying on the back of it. A mother's love. You mean so much to us, Chris. This isn't what I wanted for you.
This isn't what I wanted either, trust me.
I know, hon. I don't know what happened, but I will never, ever stop loving you. Ever.
Never stop loving you guys either, trust me.
Is there anything we can do?
Just your love and support is all I need.
Honey, you've got that. You've got that.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of good letters from people, just like people of support. So.
Oh, honey, you don't know how much support you had out here. So many people supported you. So many still support you, and I wish I could ask you more.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day, just not now.
No. No, but this is what you want.
Yeah, this is my decision. This is what I'm gonna do. Now this nightmare has to be over for everybody.
No, you have to remember we're strong.
I know. This is my decision, though.
But don't ever confess to something you didn't do.
I know, but this is my decision, though. This is all me, okay?
I want you, if this is your decision, then you get in there and you make something. Your story's not over. It's just another beginning of something else, Chris. But your story does not end here. It doesn't end here. You are made for something else. Then I don't know what it is yet, but you are.
It's November 2018. The world already knows what Chris Watts did. The headlines are screaming it. A father who murdered his pregnant wife and 2 little girls. The perfect family in Frederick, Colorado, shattered beyond imagination. The case was supposed to be closed. The monster was behind bars. But then, another voice echoes from the walls of a prison phone call. His mother, Cindy Watts. A soft, trembling voice that somehow makes everything darker. If you did not do this, she tells him, don't confess to something you didn't do. The world listens and gasps, because by then, the evidence was overwhelming. The bodies had been found. The confession was on record. The autopsies confirmed everything. And yet, Cindy still told her son not to admit to what he'd already done. It's here the story of Chris Watts takes a disturbing turn. Not just about murder, but about denial, control, and the strange bond between a mother and the son she refuses to see as a killer. As the recording plays, you can almost hear Chris's silence. A man who destroyed everything, still being told by the one person left in his corner that maybe he didn't. Maybe the world was wrong. Maybe she was wrong. This isn't just a story of blood and betrayal anymore. It's about the voices that whisper even after the truth is buried. It's about a mother who refuses to let go of her son's innocence, even when the evidence screams guilt. And before we go deeper into this chilling descent, the calls, the manipulation, and the twisted love that refuses to die, make sure to subscribe to Sinister Tales, because the darkness behind this case is only just beginning. The truth, it seems, didn't end with the murders. It started with the people who refused to believe them. The prison call wasn't just a mother comforting her son. It was a window into denial so deep it almost felt supernatural. Cindy Watt's voice was calm, almost maternal, as if she were still tucking Chris into bed instead of speaking to a confessed killer. "You just hold your head up," she said softly. "Don't say anything that isn't true. I know my son." But what was the truth anymore? The world had already heard Chris's chilling confession, the details of how he ended the lives of Shanann, Bella, and Celeste. Investigators had mapped his lies, his deleted texts, his quiet deceit. The walls of his perfect suburban life had already fallen. And yet, through that phone line, Cindy built him another one. A fantasy world where her son couldn't possibly be capable of evil. To her, he was still the quiet boy who could do no wrong. The son who married the wrong woman. The son she thought Shanann controlled. It was easier to believe that than to face what he had become. But that denial wasn't harmless. It fueled something darker. A movement online, where strangers began defending Chris, painting Shanann as the villain, echoing Cindy's suspicions. They said he was framed, manipulated, pushed too far. The truth became distorted, wrapped in sympathy for a man who showed none for his victims. And if you've made it this far into this story, hit like, because stories like this deserve to be remembered exactly as they happened, not as the lies people tell to make themselves feel better. As Chris sat in his cell, listening to his mother's words, one could almost feel his mind twisting, torn between guilt and comfort, truth and the only love he had left. Sometimes evil doesn't end at the act. Sometimes it's kept alive by those who refuse to see it. By the time the call leaked to the public, the damage was already done. Cindy Watt wasn't just a grieving mother. She had become a symbol of the dangerous comfort of denial. In her mind, Shanann wasn't a victim. She was the problem. The tension had started long before the murders. Back when Cindy refused to attend her son's wedding, when she called Shanann controlling, when she blamed her for changing Chris. Even after the murders, those old wounds still bled. Cindy clung to them like proof. "This isn't my Chris," she told reporters. "Something happened to him." But the chilling truth is, nothing happened to him. He chose. He planned. He carried out every step with calculated calm. And while the world mourned Shanann and the girls, his mother's refusal to face the truth gave the illusion of a crack. A space where sympathy for a killer could grow. In those interviews, Cindy's tone was hauntingly soft, almost pleading. She said she didn't believe her son could do it, that he must have been tricked or pressured. She even claimed the confession wasn't real, that he was protecting someone else. The public recoiled. How could a mother still defend him, even after everything?
He was quiet, and he got along with people, and he didn't start anything, and he was a perfect teenager, tell you the truth. He did not even rebel. And he liked her, she liked him, but it didn't, I don't think that was love at first sight or anything. They took a little while and I guess got to know each other and, you know, dated. It was always a little strange that she always said a lot of things about Chris in front of me that I didn't like. Like, this isn't the kind of person I would date. He doesn't know how to do this, or he doesn't know how to do that. He looks like a skater boy. Look at his hair. Look how much stuff he puts on his hair. It was just on and on and on, and I just got a bad feeling. Little. You can only observe. I could only observe what I saw when I was around them. Christopher always seemed anxious, and he when she needed something, I mean, he would run. He wouldn't walk, he would run, he would get it. He just always seemed to be right there at her beck and call. It was very odd. He just seemed nervous.
And yet, if you listen closely, you hear something even more sinister. Not just a mother's love, but her need to believe her son's lies. Because to admit the truth meant admitting that the boy she raised was a monster. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Sinister Tales, because this story isn't just about what happened in that Colorado home. It's about the people who helped bury the truth after the bodies were already gone. And what Cindy said next would make the world question, who was really protecting whom? As investigators and the public pieced together the timeline, the contradictions in Cindy Watts' words grew impossible to ignore. On one hand, she said she wanted justice for Shanann and the girls. On the other, she insisted her son was incapable of what he'd confessed to. That strange duality, loving the killer but denying the crime, became the most haunting part of the story. In one jail call, Cindy's voice cracked as she whispered, "This isn't the end for you, Chris. God will forgive you. We'll get through this." But forgiveness isn't the same as facing reality. And in that moment, it was clear Cindy wasn't ready to face anything. For those who followed the case, it was hard to comprehend. Chris's own words had confirmed everything. He admitted to strangling Shanann and then smothering Bella and Celeste. He even remembered Bella's last plea, "Daddy, no." Yet his mother still said, "Don't confess to something you didn't do." Those words sent chills down the nation's spine. Was she in denial, or was she protecting something darker? An image, a legacy, a family name? Maybe she couldn't bear the weight of raising a monster, so she rewrote the story in her mind. The human brain does strange things when faced with horror. It protects itself even at the cost of the truth. But in Cindy's case, that protection blurred the line between love and delusion. And if you're still watching, take a second to hit like, because stories like this remind us how far people will go to pretend evil doesn't exist when it's wearing a familiar face. As the calls continued, Chris grew quieter, detached, almost childlike again. It was as if his mother's disbelief became his refuge. But the silence between them said everything. The truth she refused to believe was already devouring him from the inside. By the time Chris Watts settled into his life sentence in a Wisconsin prison, the world had already moved on. But Cindy hadn't. She still called, still wrote letters, still told anyone who would listen that she didn't believe her son could have done it. And in those conversations, you could almost hear her rewriting reality, reshaping the story into something she could live with. "You're still my baby," she whispered once. "People don't know the real you, but we do." The evidence spoke louder than any denial ever could. The drone footage of where he buried Shanann, the oil tanks where he hid Bella and Celeste, the confession that painted every terrible detail in his own words. Still, Cindy's voice lingered, gentle, broken, but unyielding. To her, the crime wasn't proof of evil. It was proof of how much the world had turned against her son. It's a kind of blindness that chills you more than rage ever could. And maybe that's the real horror of this story. Not just what Chris Watts did, but how easily love can twist into protection of the unforgivable. How a mother's devotion, instead of bringing light, can deepen the darkness. In the end, Chris's story isn't just about a man who murdered his family. It's about the silence that followed, the denial that kept his crimes alive, the mother who still can't let him go. So before you leave, subscribe to Sinister Tales, because behind every crime like this lies another story, buried under love, fear, and the lies people tell to survive. And maybe the most haunting question of all isn't why Chris Watts did it, but why his mother still can't believe that he did. Because sometimes the most dangerous kind of love is the one that refuses to see the truth.